All right, Willow, we're only a few days away from redemption here. We're going to be challenging for the world title against Tekla. I got to talk to you about the segment we saw last night because I think you surprised a lot of people by using Tekla's own insult against her. What is it about her that drove you, one of the most positive people, to use the words like dumb bitch to describe her?
Listen, first of all, Mick Foley is my favorite wrestler. I love him so much. Obviously, he's a Long Island boy, but I always admired how, tough he was, doing all this crazy, twisted stuff, while also having this, really endearing charm, this sweetness about him. And I think seeing those two things, it is a bit inspiring to me. And I knew him since the beginning of my career. I trained with his daughter Noelle for a little bit. He always says if she ever did have to have her one match, he would want it to be against me, and I take that as a great badge of honor. So for her to be so disrespectful to me, to be disrespectful to her peers, I get it. Whatever, you can talk the talk, do what you have to do to make yourself feel important and powerful. But going off and talking to Mick like that, no, I can't stand for that. So I had to remind her, you can point fingers at everybody in this division and call us that term, but right now that's how you're acting. Look in the mirror, girl. So that's where that came from. I was just really, that ticked me off.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said about Mick. He's the only guy who can get away with wearing a Santa shirt in July, and it works for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know if it was able to get captured on television, but he was wearing Elf shoes, like the movie Elf.
Oh, with the little
image printed on them.
Oh, okay. I did not see that. No, that makes it even funnier because I know he's got a whole room at his house dedicated to Christmas. It's a big thing for him. And
yeah.
Did you ever watch the Santa Claus documentary that he did?
You know what? I actually had meant to, but I don't think I ever got around to it. I'm very big on being I'm going to add this to my list. And I, even sitting on airplanes as much as I do, I really don't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. If you're looking for something one day, it is entertaining, though, and Mick is great at it, obviously.
I'm putting it back on the list. Christmas in July. That's exactly the words he said to me yesterday when I commented on his shoes. Christmas in July. I'll get on it.
All right, so now you are challenging for the world title here, but previously you had to relinquish the TBS title due to an injury. Now, when that happened, were you aware of how long you were going to be out? Because I think a lot of people were kind of surprised that you returned as quick as you did after relinquishing the title. Was the healing process quicker than expected?
Initially, upon the injury, thought that I could fight through it and get to wrestle at Double or Nothing. I was being very stubborn and telling the doctors, no, don't worry, you guys can tape me up. It'll be fine. I'll get through the match. And they were like, listen, Willow, honey, we can put you in this match. Let's say, for some reason, we do clear you. We put you in this match. You are going to get hurt again and be much worse off. And so at that point, they were like, we are pulling you from competition. Don't even think about doing the Owen. And honestly, the first few days after my injury, because this happened on a Saturday in Salisbury, Maryland. I was wrestling Red Velvet. I remember the exact moment it happened because I reached for my shoulder and I was like, it feels like it's in place. I've never dislocated my shoulder, but I don't think it would feel like this. It felt stable, in place. But I was like, it sure as hell hurt. It hurt so bad to just move it, let alone to think about using my power moves and stuff, or even using a lariat. I remember I gave velvet like a lariat in the match, and it's just like, I was like, oh my God, that probably hurt me more than it hurt her at this point. And the first few days were so painful. They were like, you have to move it. So we weren't entirely sure how long it would be, because I was getting to a point where it felt like I was getting closer to doing my normal day-to-day stuff. But doing your normal day-to-day stuff is not the same as being a professional wrestler. The strength that is required from your joints, the amount of stress that you're about to put them under, and the risk and potential of injury occurring again is so high. So even though you feel like you're on the up and up and you're doing okay, being ready to actually wrestle is a very unpredictable thing. So they were telling me, like, listen, girl, you might not think it's too terrible, but you might not be able to wrestle for a very long time. That was the hard part. That was the part where we were like, well, we don't know. And for me, I had said this in promos before. I said it in the message when I was relinquishing the title. For me, it was like, if somebody wanted the opportunity at the title, I would give it to them week after week. If the opportunity were there for me to wrestle, I would take it. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that because I couldn't wrestle. And so that just felt like the right move. I wasn't entirely sure of when I would be back. I did know I didn't have to have surgery, so I was hoping it wouldn't be months and months and months. But you just never know. You know, people have small things that happen with their hand or their wrist or this, let alone like a main joint that you're using every day to even just like lift a pencil up off the ground, you know, and you don't know how long they're going to be out. So I was very lucky in that regard that it wasn't so terrible.
A dislocated shoulder is so unpredictable too. Like it can affect so many things.
Luckily I did not dislocate it, which is what I was feeling for it initially. But it still was just a matter of, we won't know when you'll be wrestle ready.
Well, I know a lot of people were happy to see you return as soon as you did, especially with, you know, the big pay-per-view season coming up here with All In, All Out, Redemption, all kind of in a short span of time. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about is it's been roughly about 5 years since you joined AEW back in 2021, and you've been able to accomplish a lot since then. You know, TBS title, CMLL, New Japan, the Owen. Where do you see yourself 5 years from now in terms of like what kind of goals do you want to accomplish that you haven't yet done, other than winning the world title? Of course, it's obviously your most prominent goal.
The number one. I mean, when I look 5 years out, I don't know 100% really what my goal is. Obviously, the World Championship is something I'm gunning for now. And it kind of feels like the thing that I'll never be able to really rest until it happens. And, you know, I am putting a lot of eggs in this basket. And I hope and dream and want for this to happen. But if it takes me another 5-10 years to chase it, that's what I'll be doing. You know, I've loved wrestling pretty much my whole life. And this is kind of why people get into it. Yeah, they get into it for fun and to express themselves in new and interesting ways. And the aggression, being able to let go of all of that is really cool and it's fun. But you know, we all get into this because we want to be the world champ. That is what inspires us. That's what moves us. And so that is the thing. I'll be chasing that for as long as I need to. But let's say I do hit my big goal. What comes next? I'm passionate about, I am passionate about getting opportunities into the hands of people who are overlooked. Whether that be fighting for women to get more time. Like if I'm in a position where I've hit my big goal and I can put my neck out on the line a little bit more maybe, rock the boat, ruffle some feathers, maybe make people angry because I'm being more vocal and a little bit like, yes, chef, I think I would be willing to do that for others. I think ultimately there are a lot of people who've helped me and put my name out there and spoken kindly about me in rooms that I wasn't in. And at that point, the best that I could do is return the favor. There are so many women who are on the indies right now, or even on our roster, the girls who are at Ring of Honor, the girls who are on AEW TV, but maybe not as regularly. Do what I can to help them. Maybe, I don't know how other people view me, if they would even want my opinion or advice, but I'm here for them. Or even the guys, think about the queer representation that we have in wrestling. I connect with a lot of fans. I have a lot of people who cheer for me, a lot of people who are pro Willow. I know, because when I go to the shows, I hear you guys, and I'm appreciative. And this isn't me trying to sound arrogant or anything. Like, I feel so loved. But I also know there's a group of people who really don't like me because I will speak up on, like, trans rights. And that's just something I'm not willing to quiet down on. So I think I could see myself being in a position more of advocating for people in that realm, doing more for people who really do get overlooked.
Well, I mean,
ultimately,
as somebody,
I think what I would want to be doing in the next 4 years. No, it's fine. I think it was the end. I was just wrapping up my own words. I was trying to land the plane.
Well, what I was going to say was, as somebody who actually knows quite a few queer and trans pro wrestling fans, like they see those kinds of support from the wrestlers, and it goes a long way. Like, they really do appreciate when somebody in a position like you, somebody who's on TV and very popular, is able to make those kinds of stands. So trust me when I say that it doesn't go unnoticed or unappreciated by that community.
Well, I appreciate them. Somebody actually asked me the other day, I was getting my hair done, and my hairdresser asked me, what are your fans like? And I was like, my fans are like everything. I was like every walk of life you can imagine, I have a fan like that. But I do notice when I go to the signings, I have a bunch of queer fans, and I'm proud of them. I love them. I love that they feel comfortable coming to me in their truest form. It really does make my heart feel good to know that I can be a safe person for you. And honestly, so much of our locker room is like that, especially the girls. I love the girls. Got to shout out my AEW women's locker room. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying, and it's, like I said, it's definitely very noticeable. AEW has cultivated a reputation for being like a safe place for wrestling fans of all kinds, and I think that that's great that there are so many who feel comfortable enough to express that. But I want to go into the past a little bit now. We did talk about the future. What would you say is the biggest lesson you've learned since joining AEW 5 years ago that has helped you get to where you are now?
Could you repeat that one more time? I want to make sure that I answer this correctly, because I had a few things pop into my head.
So since you joined AEW 5 years ago, roughly, what would you say is the most important or biggest thing that you've learned that's helped you in your career get to where you are now?
I think the most important thing is self-advocacy, believing in yourself, and standing up for yourself when you need to, is the way it should be summarized, really. Because being a team player is good. Having a united vision is great. But only you know who you are authentically. And sometimes you just got to stick up for yourself, which is something I really did not do a lot in my 20s. In the past few years, I really have gotten a good sense of who I am and have stuck up for myself a bit more than what I've had to. And that goes across all areas of my life.
Well, I mean, you're right. I do think that that is a good lesson that can translate to pretty much any career. Now, earlier you had mentioned that you would like to be able to use your position to help out other talent, especially the women in AEW. And AEW's women's roster right now is obviously extremely stacked. You guys have picked up a lot of great talent over the last few years to add to what was already an awesome roster. So I'm kind of curious, out of the people who you haven't faced yet, is there anyone that you're dying to get in the ring with and see what's going on with them? In AEW or Ring of Honor?
That is a good question who I haven't wrestled yet. So Maya World is somebody that I've wrestled on the indies one time. I would really like to be able to do that on a bigger platform, especially just with the way that she's stepped up in the past month or two. You know, I think if I was 23, I think she just turned 24. To be that young and be put on television and thrusted into the position that she found herself in, and not just handle it with grace, but to absolutely knock it out of the park is just like, I wouldn't have been able to do that when I was 23. At least I don't think so. But it's, you know, she's in the position and she doesn't waver. The other week, I did an in-ring promo with the conglomeration, and I came back, you know, and I was doing a live promo is something I always get butterflies about, because wrestling, I'm so comfortable with that. I'm so confident in that. But speaking in front of people is still something that gives me such a rush, because I'm like, I'm not as experienced in this. So I come back from that and I'm like, oof, I did it. And then Tony calls me over. He goes, hey Willow, I think I want to do a live promo with you and Maya, because I want you guys to do a trios match, and I want you guys to announce a trios match for next Dynamite. So if you guys could get together and do that. I was like, sure. And I was like, oh my God, we're about to do a live promo. I got to get back into it. But also, I'm throwing this at Maya, who's really still pretty new to the live TV thing. And if I've been doing this for nearly 5 years, as you mentioned, with AEW, how must she feel? And she just took the whole thing with so much grace. Enough about putting Maya over. She's great. I think Zeta Steele is also somebody who I've seen working before shows, training with, like, Lee Moriarty is somebody who's always working in the ring with whoever wants to learn more before shows. So shout out to Lee. But Zeta is somebody who finds herself there just trying to get better. And I mean, if we can, I don't know that it's realistic, but Lee Moriarty is somebody I would like to reach out to.
You know, I was literally going to ask you after this question, if you did an intergender match, who would you pick? So is Lee the answer?
I mean, he's one of them. The thing is, ultimately, I do come from independent wrestling, and intergender wrestling has such a special place in my heart, because I feel like for so long, women's careers were shorter, and you didn't really get as many women vets out there on the independent scene, because, you know, when girls started getting good, there's less of us. Whenever they would kind of start getting some buzz, they'd get picked up and they'd get signed somewhere. So there were veterans for us to learn from, but it was limited. And so if you really wanted to work with somebody that had all the experience and was able to kind of pass that on to you through the osmosis of wrestling them, you had to be wrestling guys. And that is something I loved doing. And I got to do a little bit of it when I was kind of at odds with the Death Riders. Was that last year or the year before? I can't even remember. Maybe last year. But I think Eddie Kingston is somebody I've always really wanted to wrestle. Or even do like a mixed tag with. I think that would be so fun. Kyle Fletcher, I really want to wrestle. honestly, I don't think about it too much anymore because in my head I'm like, it's not realistic. But there are so many guys on the roster I'd love to just wrestle. Yeah.
I mean, imagining the promos between you and Eddie Kingston, I don't even know how that would go. Like, would he just get annoyed at you constantly being so positive and him being unable to make you angry? Like, that might be the funniest
Potentially.
exchange. That might be the funniest exchange ever. And now I really want to see it.
Yeah.
So,
We'll see. I mean, I'm still convinced that it can happen, you know? It's
yeah.
not outside the realms of possibility, so.
It does seem like we're getting closer to it, too. Like you said, there has been some intergender stuff that's been going on a little more frequently in AEW over the past couple of years. I do think we're starting to approach that point where we could see, you know, you potentially facing a male wrestler in a singles match on television at some point. I don't think that's impossible.
We've done a handful of mixed tags. We've done quite a handful of those. And you know what? Actually, all the guys in the conglomeration, I didn't even think of it because I was like, oh yeah, those are my stablemates. Like, those are my buddies. Those are my homies. But I'd love to wrestle any of them.
Oh, I mean, I think a match between you and Ishii,
Roddy,
you and Big Tom, that might be just as good as you and Eddie, honestly.
I did at least get to do a mixed tag with him at Wembley, which is really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to wrestle him too.
All right, so. I don't know if you remember this from last time, but the way I usually like to wrap these things up is by having the wrestlers review a movie they've watched recently. Not necessarily a recent movie. It doesn't have to be something new, just something you watched. The last time we spoke, you talked about the Barbie movie. So,
oh my God.
Is there anything that you've watched recently that you'd like to talk about?
The first thing that came to mind was Matilda, which I think it had to be months since I've watched it, but it's really stuck with me. I'm pretty sure I've even seen movies in.
We're talking about the one with
Danny.
The one with Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
okay.
It's just like a Roald Dahl book that they turned into a movie. Yeah, I was just home, and it might have been on like Netflix or something. And my boyfriend and I were looking for something to watch, and we were like, "Hey, let's just watch this one, something lighthearted before we go to bed." And I forgot how much I loved that movie. It is just like, visually, it's so fun. Like, movies don't look fun like that anymore. Maybe it's just because I'm not watching kids' movies. I mean, that is also a very big possibility. But it's just like every detail from the set design to the way the characters dress was just so, like, whimsical and, like, it had like some flavor, some character to it. And I mean, there are bits of the story that are just so ridiculous. Like, I truly belly laughed. Like, I remember the scene about the kid having to eat all that chocolate cake. But I completely, like, whoever might be listening or reading or whatever, there's a scene where a kid is punished and he has to eat a whole chocolate cake, and the school's cheering him on, and they're like, you can do it. And then Miss Treshbull takes the glass plate that the cake was on and smashes it over the child's head. I'm like, I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that either. But you know what?
Yeah,
Danny DeVito directed that movie, so I can't say I'm surprised it had some stuff like that in it.
Yeah, and yeah. If you are somebody who is around my age range, I'm 32. If you're an old Gen Z person, young millennial-ish, if you're in that range and you grew up and loved that movie, go rewatch it. Please do yourself a favor. It's such a delight. It's a lighthearted. You can put it on whenever. If you're just doing chores around the house, you'll get a good giggle, a good chuckle, a nice smile out of it. You'll feel a little lighter. And listen, things are hard out here in this world. You need something that's going to make you feel a little bit lighter. Matilda will do it.
You know, I actually completely agree with you, and I haven't thought about that movie in so long, but it's such a stacked movie if you look at the cast. Like, Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, like, freaking Pee Wee Herman's in that movie. And
yes, he is.
It took me a long time to realize that it was him. Because anytime I see him outside of Pee Wee, I didn't recognize him until I was much, much older.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to go back and kind of see those things through new eyes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I remember when that movie came out, it was very popular with kids at my school, because I think it came out when I was like 12. So, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm really glad you picked that one, because now I kind of want to go watch it.
Do yourself a favor. It really is just a delight.